What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate every single one of you coming by as always. Now, what an interesting, of course, everything seems to always be interesting happening on in the crypto world, but main things that we're following, obviously, the Ukraine crisis has had a pretty significant impact on overall markets worldwide. So we've been following what's happening in Russia, what's happening to the Russian market, and really how that's affecting everything macroeconomically and in particular crypto. So had some interesting news and narratives I wanted to bring to your attention. Some HBAR updates, XDC, really just talking about the market overall and our utility cryptos that we like to watch, what that effect is. I mean, overall, it's the market has recovered some. The market is definitely better off than it was yesterday. You know, so you can kind of predict that anytime there's invasion news, the market usually does and pumps up immediately after. I read a chart, and I don't have it here in front of me, but it showed that, you know, out of the past major 5 conflicts, right after the invasion and news of the invasion, the market is corrected. And so that's what we're seeing right here, the market going up. Now, what overall has been the reactions? We're going to talk about Russia. We're going to talk about sanctions, lack of sanctions, et cetera, et cetera. But overall, you see here this article on Cointelegraph, several prominent members of the crypto blockchain. How are we reacting? The U.S. government actually responded to the Russian invasion with stringent economic sanctions, but they stopped short of actually cutting off Russia from SWIFT. Now, it's been speculated that there could be several reasons for that. We won't go super deep into it. Believe that it could just be mainly that several countries in Europe do actually still need natural gas from Russia, so that would cause problems. And at the end of the day, if anything, the Western powers are still scared of crypto overall, and Russia has definitely already been developing their own blockchain systems, the same as China. So by cutting them off from SWIFT, that would further push them to just completely not subvert the current financial system and just build their own, which would see crypto adoption explode. We would see more and more crypto continue to grow, and actually it would grow quicker, and that is going to make it more difficult for the United States, Canada, Western powers, really the rest of the world, to build their own systems, right? So I feel like they didn't want to actually do that. They wanted to just keep the status quo as long as possible. But you see here, Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin, he had voiced his opposition to things as well. You got Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX CEO. They're giving $25 to each Ukrainian, so that's pretty cool. A lot of people are responding, giving out crypto, and really this is a good example, and it shows you a huge positive use case for crypto is things like this. You have Mr. Whale tweeting, even very concerned with what's happening in Ukraine right now, doing everything. Like, he just donated $10,000 to the Ukrainian Red Cross. That's pretty cool. Shout out there. Cyber Alliance has received approximately $100,000 worth of Bitcoin. So it's just a case in point of what you see here when people say, "Oh, crypto, you know, it will go away at some point." No, this is a case in point right here. Real world conflict, and you see it being used, and you see it being used for something that is obviously good. Now, what are some of the actual sanctions here? So the U.S. basically blocked five of the biggest Russian banks, froze all their assets worth over $1 trillion. So that's something that they at least needed to look like they were taking action on. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson imposed similar sanctions earlier Thursday, freezing the assets of all major Russian banks, cutting them off from the UK's markets. The blockade is part of a series of sanctions that the U.S. and G7 leaders have agreed on to attempt to contain further movements by Russian President Vladimir Putin. So but again, you know, they didn't actually cut them out. Biden said that despite multiple reports indicating a probable ejection of Russia from international payment system SWIFT, there are no plans to go down that path currently. And SWIFT is based in Belgium, so they're neutral, and in order for a country to be cut off, every single country actually has to agree to cut them out. So that is what you're seeing is going to be that they don't get cut out, right? Despite not having removed Russia from SWIFT, Biden said that the U.S. and G7 leaders are in agreement to limit Russia's ability to do business in dollars. So they're going to hit them as much as they can. But if anything, Russia's been stockpiling gold. They have been building their own crypto infrastructure. So who can tell really where this will lead things for Russia and how this will impact overall the global macroeconomic space. Crypto could actually bypass President Biden's devastating sanctions on Russian banks. This was actually another article on Cointelegraph today that if a wealthy individual is concerned that their accounts may be frozen due to sanctions, they can simply hold their wealth in Bitcoin. And, there's not as much that they can do to get around that. So, according to a Thursday report from Bloomberg, Russian billionaires could potentially circumvent any U.S. sanctions by using crypto to buy goods and services and continue to make investments outside countries experiencing harsher economic impacts due to the invasion. So, again, we're going to see, and also in particular, too, not just rich individuals, but the country as a whole is going to be able to use crypto to get around that. And it's going to, if anything, prompt the U.S. and countries like that to keep up and actually continue to push on developing their own financial system using crypto. Now, I wanted to definitely share this. People definitely should be paying attention to this. FBI and DHS warn U.S. officials of possible Russian cyber attacks linked to invasion of Ukraine. The FBI and Department of Homeland Security warning about potential Russian cyber attacks, and think that would disrupt anything to do with our modern life. Any kind of infrastructure, anything that's operated with computers, anything that remotely makes our life easier could be interfered with. So, it'll be interesting to see what exactly happens. Definitely get your crypto off the exchanges. There's many good hardware wallets. Don't have any in particular that I push on this channel. Ledgers are good. The Decent biometric wallet. There's several good ones out there. Just keep your crypto safe. If you're doing and you're using any DeFi yield farming protocols, then I understand. Obviously, you can't keep everything in cold storage, but your long-term cryptos, the utility cryptos, the ones we like, the ones that we talk about on this channel, the ones that are, going to be around in the future, or what the new infrastructure is being built on. We want to keep those safe. We want to keep those off of the exchange in case there is some kind of attack. Now, I wanted to bring this tweet to our attention here. Speaking of the utility that we like to follow, this is from Andre Casterman. He made a tweet yesterday, and he said, extremely bullish on trade finance distribution XDC. Read it again till you get it. There's a few words in brackets that we will soon talk more about. Now, so I was like, what is he actually linking here? So I pulled up the link. It's actually an article that he had written a little while ago, but I wanted to go bring it up and kind of summarize what exactly it is and why he would be tweeting about it. Andre Cashman, of course, definitely heading up this whole space here with the TFD initiative and heavily involved with XDC. We want to follow what he's doing, especially with trade tech and really in the whole fintech space and trade finance. And he's just really bringing up to the attention that this is where the future is heading, especially with everything. If anything, what's happening in the Ukraine and that kind of disruption just shows that we are moving towards a more globalized economy, a more globalized system. We need to free up some of these problems. When we have supply chain shortages, it only exacerbates a problem that's currently existing in our trade finance infrastructure. And the future is freeing up that capital. First consequence for originators, whether representing incumbent banks or alternative lenders, is the need to increase distribution volumes. So that's what they're trying. They're trying to free up capital, trying to free up how assets are flowing in this space. So I was like, what is actually he trying to say here? What is actually the important things from this article that we really should be seeing? And he actually reported here. I was reporting in the Wall Street Journal. This was from January 22nd, 2020. Now, asset managers say trade financing pays attractive returns compared with bonds, whose yields have plummeted in recent years as interest rates drop to historic lows. Now, we're only going to see that continue more because, especially with bond rates and just with where things are economically, investors need better options to put their money. And what's essentially going to happen is that trade and asset-backed securities are going to be able to now be an instrument there, especially with the tokenization of all these assets, to something that now are investable assets. Like instead of it being a mortgage-backed security, it can be some kind of trade finance-backed security, which is an entirely just interesting concept in and of itself. So that is, I feel like, one of the things where this whole space is going. I've seen several recent presentations with XDC, and I feel like a lot of them and a lot of their partners that they're working with are already going after that tokenization side of things and being able to really, you see here, bridging trade finance with capital markets. And you see here they're saying it can be achieved by repackaging assets into notes, that's securitizing, to establish the appropriate bridge with the capital market space. Now pay attention here. Repackaging effectively transforms trade assets into notes, which is an instrument that investors active in various asset classes are comfortable dealing with via their own custodians and regulated infrastructure such as Euroclear and Clearstream. So that's the huge thing that we see. When will we see this? 2022? I don't know if 2022 is going to be the year that we see full repackaging of this, of assets, of different trade finance instruments. But 2023, 2024, that's where we're going to see huge changes in the space. Now, something similar to this, I saw this article, and this was multiple months old now, but I found it really relevant because it just shows you the potential of the space. Facebook this is from September of 2021. You see, the social media giant will buy invoices from small businesses owned by women and minorities, sparing them the usual wait to be paid by customers. That's one thing that XDC network and really the overall trade tech is really pushing for. They're pushing for one way that if you're a small business and you have 60, 90, 120 days of invoices that haven't been paid by your customers or other small businesses, if you're business to business, this is a way now for you to get paid and get some immediate cash flow, and when you are a small business owner, until you really get to a certain level, I mean, it might look like you're making money on paper, but there's just so many unknowns and variables, and being able to tap into this trade finance and being able to monetize different invoices that you have yet to be paid on is something that you're only going to see continue to grow with something like asset tokenization. Now, this isn't specifically going to be used this isn't specifically XDC, but if Facebook is doing it, if Facebook is getting out where they're going to have $100 million to plan to help companies that need to be paid on outstanding invoices, then you know that this is a massive space. And I feel like that's just such a tiny little amount for such a big problem. Now, moving on, I wanted to share this. This was from regarding HBAR. The HBAR Foundation actually announcing their latest grantee is Hashpack. Now, Hashpack is essentially, you see here, the Hashpack wallet is a non-custodial browser-based app and dedicated Chrome extension. So sort of like a MetaMask, which is really going to allow the HBAR and Hedera ecosystem to thrive. It's going to support HBAR and Hedera token service tokens, including NFTs. We know other tokens that are operating on the Hedera token service, Circle, USDC, including NFTs. You'll be able to store NFTs in it. Supports an NFT gallery, peer-to-peer NFT trading, free account creation, multi-account support. Now, this is exciting because this is really going to make it more user-friendly to even get started. I remember when I first started getting into HBAR, it was really even hard to store it, and you had to it was really confusing to even at the time figure out what address to put it into. And really, when you're new to this whole space and you don't know about all these different addresses and custodial, non-custodial, it can be really confusing, and that could be a big deterrent. So having something like this coming into the space, making it easy, making the user experience nice and easy, that's going to go leaps and bounds in providing mass adoption of this. Now, Hashpack's vision is to provide a protocol to serve as an open source standard for the Hedera network, maximizing accessibility across the ecosystem. And that's, you see there, their goal is to build critical infrastructural infrastructural tools that reduce friction for users and developers, said their CEO. The partnership with the HBAR Foundation is really going to accelerate our team and get those tools out into the ecosystem. So you got that push, and continuing to watch that. HBAR's been going and doing good here, pumped up a little bit over the past few days, watching the price action. Now, and you see here, this too, this was on, I saw this on a Reddit, that announced from Center, which, Center, they're tied to USDC and CirclePay. You see, we couldn't, they're actually saying that they're really just excited to be a part of that. You see, Hedera announced USDC on Hedera is a stablecoin brought to you by CirclePay and Coinbase, member of the Center Consortium, which provides leading globally trusted standards for stablecoins. So the fact that you have these things being built out now, this is older news, but it's still good to just see that people are just now starting to notice it, is what it feels like. It's just like, wow, this is, we've known that in the community for a while, but now it's really starting to get out, and people are realizing, oh, okay, well, what is it actually, built on? Built on Hedera. So this hash pack will be able to support really a lot of anything that's built on the HTS token service. So guys, I appreciate, like I said, that's really all I got for today's video. Go ahead and just wrap it up here, but appreciate every single one of you guys for stopping by. Appreciate you leaving a like on this video. If you've made it this far, help me out, help me reach more people. I appreciate we continue to get new subscribers. I'm going to continue to put out these update videos and keep you guys posted on macroeconomic trends that I see affecting crypto, really to help affect and influence our decisions. So what did you get out of this video? Is there anything that you're still paying attention to that you're going to buy on this dip? Me personally, I'm just paying attention. I'm watching, not really doing anything other than that, not making any big, crazy, drastic moves. Encourage you to just keep your eyes open, keep peeled, and I'll see you on the next video.